In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to assign the Valentine cards to students via Google Classroom. The first thing you need to do is to open up Google Slides and then go to Start a New Presentation, blank. And then we're going to go to File, Page Setup, Custom, change the first number to a 6 and the next one to a 4 because the Valentine cards were created to be 6 by 4 inches, and then click Apply. If there are text boxes showing, you want to delete them. And then the first thing we're going to do is to set the background as the student Valentine card. And the reason we set the card as the background is so that when students come in to make their own edits, they can't move or change it if it is the background. So to do that, you click on Background, choose Image, Browse. And you want to browse to the folder on your computer where you saved each of your students' Valentine cards with their photos on them. Choose one of the cards and click Open. And then Done. And the student's card will then be set as the background of that slide. And as you can see, like I cannot move or change it. So that is why we do that, so that when students edit it, it will stay put. So the next thing you want to do is, if you want to put any pre-formatted text boxes on here for your students to fill in, you can do that now. This depends on how familiar your students are with using Google Slides. If they are not familiar with it, if they're younger students and they really have never inserted text boxes in slides before, it's probably a good idea to put pre-formatted text boxes for them that they just have to edit. So for example, I would want them to put their names down here in this area. So I'm going to put a pre-formatted text box for them to fill in their names. So you go up and you say Insert Text Box, and your mouse will turn into like a plus or crosshairs, and you put the text box where you would like it to be. And then you use the tools at the top to format it the way that you like it. For example, I like mine to be center aligned, so I'm going to change the alignment. You can change text color, text size, the font, whatever you would like for your students. So then I type something like insert your name here. So then the students know that they're going to click in this text box and type their names there. I'm just going to make it just a little bit bigger with the font size. Okay. Change it. Okay. So if there's anything else that you want them to do or to put on that you would think that you would need a pre-formatted text box for, you can add them wherever you would like. And then when the students receive the assignment, they would just need to click inside the text box and change this text to their name. It just makes it easier for them to know what to do. Now they can also make other edits, and again, this depends on how familiar your students are with using Google Slides. So they could, when they get it, they could insert shapes. And Obviously, for Valentine's Day, hearts would be popular. So they could insert hearts, they could insert smiley faces, if they want to do a sunshine on the picture, a cloud, whatever they like to personalize it for the recipient. So for this example, I'll do a heart. Maybe they want to put another heart down here by their name. So then they would just format it, and they could change the fill color, make it red. So it's just a fun thing for them to make it more personalized. They could add a sunshine up here. They can make more heart flowers, whatever they would like. Another fun thing that we like to do is call outs. So they're over here. So you go to insert shape and you scroll down to call outs, and they're down here along the bottom, and they can pick which shape they like. And what they are is it will make it look like they are saying something to the card recipient. So you can change it so it looks like it's coming out of the child's mouth. So there's a little yellow dot on the bottom here, and you click on it, and you'll know you're on it if it turns into like a plus. And you can move it to the child's mouth, and then it looks like they're saying something to the card recipient. So they can insert those, and then they can insert a text box, and they can write whatever they would like inside the text box. Um, Maybe they want to say, I love you. And then they just write it in. And again, they can format the text box however they like. They can change the color of it or the size. They can move it. And it's just cute. Um, it makes it look like they're saying something special to the card recipient. So those are different ways that you can edit the card and make it a little more personalized. So I'm going to delete this off right now. Okay, so once you have it pre-formatted for your students, you put your pre-formatted text boxes. Even if you wanted to put the call out, if you have younger students and you wanted to put the call out with a text box that says insert message here or something, you can do that. But once you have it ready to go to assign to students to edit, you want to title it, and I suggest using the student's name so that it's easier to assign. And then you also want to change the share permissions to whatever you use for your class. I usually do anyone with the link, but you use whatever you prefer for your class. Okay, and then this student's assignment is ready to be sent. Now, an easy way to make each assignment for each student, because each student has to have their own separate Google slide to edit. Once you have one pre-formatted, then you can just easily make a copy for each student. So you go to File, Make a Copy, Entire Presentation. Google will then make a copy of this document. So you want to rename it to the next student's name. So let's say we're going to do Sarah's next. And then if you say share it with the same people, those same share permissions will be kept, so you don't have to keep doing them over and over. And then you say okay. And Google will open the copy of the slide. So as you can see, our pre-formatted text box and everything stayed here. So the Only thing I have to do to change it for Sarah, for the next student, is to change the background. So all you do is you click background, choose image, browse, you pick the next student's card, open, done. And then it will be changed to the next student's card, but all those, any pre-formatted text boxes or anything that you had already put on there is still there. So you don't have to keep doing them over and over. This one would be ready to go. So then you just do that. You repeat that process for each student. So it's, file, make a copy, entire presentation, rename it, change the background to the next student's card, and so on. So then you will have a separate slide for each student to edit. Next, I'm going to show you how to then assign them to each of your students. So then you want to go to assign it to each student. You want to go to your Google Classroom under the Classwork tab, click Create Assignment, give it a title, and then here is where you would type your special instructions. So if you did pre-formatted text boxes, this is where you would tell the students what you want them to put in the text boxes or how you want them to edit the cards. Then you want to click Add Google Drive, select their card, and then click Insert. And you'll see that the card is added. And I always still do, even though each student has their own card to edit, I still do make a copy for each student, only because just in case anything would happen when they go to edit the card, like something would get ruined or I don't know, what have you. I just am extra careful and I always keep an original copy and then send a copy to the student just in case. And if you want to give them a due date, you can put a due date in. And then obviously you don't want to send it to all students, so you would use your drop down menu and just choose this student's name. Now for privacy reasons, I can't show you that because I can't show my students' names, but you would just use this drop down and choose the student from your class, and then you just click assign, and it will be sent to the student where they can edit it. And then I always have my students send them back to me. I like to look over their edits first prior to giving them to the parents. So next I'm going to show you how the parents can save the cards or how you can send them to the parents. So once the students send the cards back to you and you approve their edits, you can send them to the parents. Now there are several options for this. You can send them to the parents directly through Google Slides. So if you send them that way, the parent can click File, Download, and then JPEG. And then they can save a copy of the card to their computer, or if they prefer to do a PDF document, they can do it that way too. But most of the time they'll do a JPEG file. So then they will have be able to save a copy of the card on their computer. Now, if you want to send the edited cards to the parents directly, like you don't want to do it through Google Classroom, Google Slides, then you would go to File, Download, download them as a JPEG file, and then send them however you communicate with your parents, via text, via email, whatever you prefer. So then you could save a copy and then just send it to the parents directly that way as a JPEG file.